This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to our support group meeting on today. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is taking care of themselves, washing their hands, sanitizing, and doing all that other good stuff. Um, so everybody's repeat today. Yeah, we don't have anybody new. And I'm assuming everybody was on the call last time, if I'm not mistaken. So, Ruby, I gave you an assignment last week. You can go ahead and unmute your mic.
You know what? I've been so busy that I didn't even remember it. And the last meeting, I had ended up having to put groceries away, and you know how long that takes?
Yeah, I know
Washing them down and stuff. So I I apologize. I had to leave, but you guys go right ahead.
Okay, we'll definitely do that. Spencer, do you remember what the homework assignment was? Oh, no, you're fine. Spencer, do you remember what the homework assignment was?
I do not. I apologize. So I have forgotten, but it was something about being grateful.
So the assignment was,
I'm guessing.
Wendy, do you remember what the assignment was? So I'm assuming she probably won't be talking a lot tonight. Kathleen, do you remember what the assignment was? Okay, so the assignment was I used the example of it taking 21 days to break a habit. And the thing that I wanted everybody to do was take 21 days, and for 21 days, I wanted you to think on 3 things that make you happy. Rick, you weren't here when we gave the assignment. um, so it was think on 3 things that make you happy for 21 days straight. And yep, you're absolutely right, Wendy. It's supposed to do you're supposed to do one thing and you're supposed to think about.
You're muted, Chasta.
Chester, you're muted right now. For some reason, you just lost your microphone.
She can't hear us either, I guess. Chasta?
No, we just lost her totally.
Sorry, I was talking and I had myself muted, but I sent her a message.
So did
She
I.
has received the message.
I know you can tell she's reading it, but she can't tell.
Can't figure out why.
Yeah, she was on a roll too.
She really was too. She was moving and grooving.
Yeah. And it looks like we've lost both Rodneys as well permanently.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
you're not muted. She's definitely not muted.
Well, she's not. Her. Do you see her green microphone? I don't see it on mine. It's not on mine.
No.
All I see is it's like it's not a muted mic. It's just like her computer is mic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she may have to. Oh, but if she goes out and comes in again, your recording's going to get messed up.
Well, it's only 7:09, so if we start from the beginning, it won't be that bad.
Right.
She said, "Wait a minute."
Right.
She said, "Wait a minute."
Right. I can see. I think her best bet is to go out and come back in again. And as soon as she goes out,
Will we all need to go back in, Rick?
No, because we have other organizers on the call, so she can.
Rick, can you actually make me an organizer? For some reason, I'm not.
I can, and I would be happy to do that.
So we don't lose somebody?
There you go. You're now an organizer. I'll make Kathleen an organizer too, because you never know, Kathleen.
All
Yeah,
righty.
according to her, if you right click on her, it says not connected to audio.
What'd you say, Frank?
When you look at like right click on Chasta's name, it says not connected to audio.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I think she may have to go to settings and do something in settings. Send her a note telling her to go to settings and make sure the audio is connected. I bet that
All
will
right,
do.
I'm sending that now.
Okay.
I got it.
I'm
That's my
back.
job, Mom.
Hey, Rodney,
Rodney.
long time no hear.
I don't know what happened.
Yep.
Believe my network might be infected. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so Chasta left, so she's probably going to come back.
yeah.
It still says recorded too.
Yes, it does. That must be because there are other organizers on. So that's great. We
Okay.
learned something. Okay. So we're in good shape. So Kathleen, you better take over the meeting, my love.
I
All
guess
yours,
so.
Kathleen.
Well, she is back in.
Y'all, I promise I have no idea what happened.
I did
Nope.
the same thing, so don't feel bad.
I think it's
I have no
Rodney's fault.
idea.
I think it's Rodney's fault.
Blame it on Louisiana.
Well, we can't blame
No.
Spencer yet. He's relatively new, so.
We're blaming on Mardi Gras. I have a physician that should be signing on tonight, Kathleen. She's from New Orleans. Name is
Okay.
Dr. Sekaku.
Very good. We were working on getting some from New York as well.
Is that the one that's doing this focus group?
Right, correct.
Okay,
Great.
I thought I knew the name.
How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing.
Yeah. Y'all excuse my hair. I cut my own hair today. If it looks a mess, it's blame it on my clippers.
I thought you was looking sideways.
I'm always looking sideways.
Well, Rodney, I think you're going to have to come and cut everybody else's hair in a couple of months.
I'm gonna do lessons online. They're talking about opening up the cities and states and all this kind of stuff already. I don't know.
They
I
can't
was
do that here.
telling another patient, I said, just because they open it up doesn't mean you have to go anywhere.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Please take your time and take care of yourselves. You know,
Right.
Exactly.
we can't let
So
somebody think for us.
I probably won't go out until we have our primary election in June. And I'm definitely getting out of the house for that. Definitely getting out of the house for that. So, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So, okay. So before I was rudely interrupted by these audio, hey, Regina. Before I was rudely interrupted by the audio breakdown for a second, we're just going to go through and we're going to tell one thing that that makes us happy. And then you're going to tell us why it makes you happy. So, Kathleen, you can go first.
Sorry, I couldn't get the unmute going on. I apologize. So, I guess one thing that makes me happy on a constant basis is music. I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer by heart since I'm a year and a half old. I have not stopped dancing. So I turn up the music really loud and I go to it and I don't care what I look like. And I usually dance with my puppies.
You're the definition of dancing to the beat of your own drum.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yep, I love it. All right, Ruby, if you can tell us one thing that makes you happy.
Seeing my son right now, and I've been away from him ever since this lockdown has happened. He's my special needs son, and I just really, really miss him. And that would make me.
Yeah, I
see
think
him on
I'm I'm a hugger. So and so not being able to hug people and be affectionate to people is really like breaking me down at the moment, because I tell a lot of people you don't really understand the power of a hug, especially when it's genuine and from somebody that cares about you and you care about them. I
Yeah.
know, Rodney, I know this hug ourselves. So yeah, trust me, I can understand. I can definitely understand your sentiment there. Okay, we have a caller. Hey, caller.
Hi.
How are you?
All is well. This is Trina.
Hey, Trina.
Hey, I was trying to see what I can do with this app. I don't know what's going on tonight, but I'm tuned in.
Okay, you're here. All right, Spencer, can you tell us one thing that makes you happy and why?
I'd be glad to.
Oh,
It's easy to think of being a father of 5 and husband and everything, to think of family and being grateful to just be alive and see each of their faces. And I'm so grateful to be a part of their lives still, as things kind of went downhill quickly there about a month and a half ago. But I also have to say music. One of the things that happened is I'm not a big Facebook user. I don't like to be out there and throwing stuff out to the general public. But I joined Facebook because of the Sarcoidosis group and getting to know you guys. But one of the other things is I had a neighbor friend who did a live concert with he and his daughter the other night. And he's a concert pianist, and she has a beautiful voice. And it was just really neat to hear them singing again, and the peace of mind it brings. So that's what I'd
Awesome.
add to it today. So
Awesome. And
thanks,
I
Jess.
will say, Global Citizen has done an amazing job with getting artists to do living room performances. I have just enjoyed their Instagrams, their Periscopes. The quarantine music that has been put out has been absolutely amazing, and I've enjoyed it a lot. And I was talking to my brother, and he's been asking me. He's stuck at home with his wife and 3 daughters. So my brother is the only level of testosterone that's in that house. And he was a little aggravated with them on yesterday. And I told him, I said, yeah, your family, y'all are used to each other. Even though you haven't been cooped up in the house like this for long periods of time, you need to do something that you love with your kids. And so he said, you're right, sis. And they just had a dance party. Just started dancing in the middle of the living room floor. He
That's
sent me
awesome.
videos and pictures. And so with you saying that with your being a husband and a father, it brought that back to my remembrance. And you got to find those things that make you happy again, and it'll change your whole entire mood. So Spencer, your next homework assignment is
I'll
to
write
have
this one
a
down.
dance party.
Dance party. You got
It's
it.
just a dance party. Just put on the music and just have fun. I've had to turn the TV off because I got consumed with it at one point. I was like, this is entirely, it's too much TV. Because what I would do, I would sit in front of the TV and I would eat. And I don't need to be on my 600-pound life in a couple months.
Yeah.
So I had to figure something out. I'm just saying. So thank you, Spencer. That was absolutely amazing.
I can't
All right.
envision it.
Right, Rodney. Wendy, can you tell us one thing that makes you happy and why?
I like to be out in my garden because I used to be a gardener for a living, and I love just being out there and trying to do stuff. Now I'm actually starting vegetables by seed to hopefully feed my neighborhood if this gets any worse.
Gotcha. I know a lot of people who are doing that, and Kathleen's doing the same exact thing. So I commend anybody who's doing that to help. Again, flattening the curve is not only with this disease with COVID. There are so many things that are happening with food shortages and all that kind of stuff like that that we just need to put our best foot forward and help with. So I commend you guys for doing that and want to help other people and not just yourselves. That's awesome. That's very commendable. All right, Rodney, tell me what the Bayou has to offer you and why it makes you happy.
Well, I'm just happy in general for life. Uh, this thing is really, taking a toll on us mentally and physically.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I wake up, it's a good day. I'm also happy for family. As Spencer says, I'm a musician myself, and I believe that music has a healing power in it. No matter what type of music you like, all genres of music, jazz, R&B, old school blues guy. But daily basis, and I'm in here.
Awesome. Sounds
Something
good.
else you all got, the gardening. I've been a gardener, a farmer, all of my life. My grandfather started me at 5 years old. And
Wow, that's hard.
I haven't had a chance to get my garden planted. And I stand in my door and I look out there at my garden. It kills me, but my health hasn't been quite as good as I needed to be able to get out there and do it. But I'm still planning on planting me some tomatoes and cucumbers and bell peppers and crowder peas. And you all up north know what crowder peas
Please.
are. I still plan on doing me a garden. Hey, Dr. Secretary. Dr.
All
Secretary
right.
just joined in, Chester.
Yeah. Doctor, if you can just give us one quick second and then we'll let you do an introduction. We're just kind of going through some preliminaries and then we're going to give you the entire floor. So if you can just be patient for just a few more minutes. Um, is her microphone muted?
Unmute your mic.
I've unmuted my mic. Mr. Reese just invited me a few minutes ago, and no, I don't want to interrupt your group at all. I just came because of the nice invitation.
Yeah, we're gonna let you introduce yourself. Give us a couple more minutes, and then we'll just let you have the floor. All right, Regina, if you can tell us one thing that makes you happy and why, that would be very appreciative.
I have a lot of things that make me happy. My favorite one right now at this present moment is my garden. I started my seeds this past weekend, and believe it or not, I have sprouts already. I'm excited.
Awesome.
So, yeah, they're brewing. That's about. And the other thing is that I'm still working, so I'm not laid off or anything like that. They have me absolutely busy. I think it's more overwhelming now than it was when I was in the physical place. So, but my garden is my happy moment.
Awesome. Sounds good. Trina, give me one thing that makes you happy and why.
Hello, everyone. There's various of things that makes me happy, but what makes me most happy is that I get to see my grandkids. They live with me. We get to do things or even have just small talk or big talk, and I just enjoy their company. That's what I love the most.
Awesome.
That's what makes
Sounds
me
great.
happy.
Hey, James. Awesome. Hey, James, how are you? If you can go ahead and unmute your mic, and if you can tell us one thing that makes you happy and why. Hey, James. Okay. Maybe not.
We'll
Okay,
come
Frank.
back.
James, check
Yeah, we'll come back.
check your settings, James, and make sure that your microphone is tied into the computer. If you hit the little cog on the top right, you'll see it could be that the microphone isn't connected to the computer, or you're on a different microphone.
Gotcha. Okay. Um. So Frank. So Frank has joined us tonight, you guys. So we're excited about that. Frank, if you can tell us one thing that makes you happy and why.
How about life? Now, actually, life, music, and my family, and it all goes together. My daughter sings, so the music, when I'm watching her sing, always makes me happy. And being here, as you know, I've been sick. That's why I haven't been speaking as much. I'm kind of dark. I'm sorry, but I'm getting better. So that's a good start.
Awesome. Sounds good. And we appreciate you also and Rick for creating this platform for all of us. And we, it's a positive platform, and we're gonna definitely do our best to make the best of it. James, are you ready? Okay, we'll try to figure out what he has going on. Okay, so Doc, it's on you. If you can tell us who you are, if she can go ahead and unmute her mic.
So let me just say to James, why don't you call in? If you go to the chat window, the telephone number and the idea there are there. And I think
Okay.
you should ask the doctor what makes her happy first.
Oh, I was getting to that. Yep, I was getting to that. So, Doctor, and I don't want to pronounce your name wrong, so if you can tell me the pronunciation of your name.
It's Leslie Sakitku.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I'm a sarcoidosis doctor in New Orleans. I specialize in one of the diseases I specialize in is sarcoidosis, and we have a center here that's internationally recognized as a center of excellence. Me and my colleagues, and I'm a friend of Mr. Reese and his wife. And everybody is from different areas. I know Frank is from New York. Is that cat dance up there?
Yes, it is, Doctor.
Nice to
It's
see
Halloween.
it. And and other places that people are from, is it mostly like New York and Louisiana, or?
Oh no,
This is
me
Spencer.
personally,
I'm
I
from
am from
Utah.
Spencer's,
Utah.
Utah. Yeah.
So,
Ruby, where are you exactly from?
From Virginia.
Virginia. Yep.
Yeah.
so this
I
is
am
James.
from Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
This is
Trina is
James.
from
I think I got my microphone working. Yay!
James.
Yay! Yay!
So, Leslie, I'm from the San Francisco area.
Okay.
So we're all over the place.
That's so terrific. And Regina?
Indiana.
Indiana. Wow. That's amazing. Wendy, were you showing pictures of your garden, by the way? She was showing pictures of her garden. So,
Yes, I was. I'm sorry. I'm from
so
upstate New York.
beautiful. So beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. So many things make me happy. I love to see nature. That makes me really super happy, and to be in nature and to walk and hear the trees rustle and the birds. And I love to be with family, and I love to be connected, and I love good people. That's it. That makes
That's
my life
nice.
really good. I know I was supposed to pick one thing.
What?
No, that's
Hey,
great.
you can do what you do.
She loves to party also.
Oh,
Yeah, I like to party. But I haven't had a drink in like 6 weeks, because when this started, I thought I cannot be fatigued. I cannot be anxious, because sometimes drinking, you don't realize it, but it can make you anxious. I said, this is starting to get surreal. Before the lockdown happened, and it was the racing incidences climbing, and I was like, whoa, I just have to be my level best as possible, because this is a this is something where you really have to be like a warrior. You have to be there. You have to be clear. You have to be able to be responsive from your best self. So I haven't had a drink in 6 weeks. And I usually like to enjoy a glass of wine or something with my friends. But yeah.
awesome. That sounds amazing. And thank you for coming. We appreciate everything that you're doing for sarcoidosis when it comes to research, development, when it comes to treating patients. Sometimes just being there. We have so many people who talk about doctors who don't have good, what we consider bedside manners. So it just makes us feel good to know that somebody would take time out of their day to come here, to sit with us, to see what it is that we're going through, to just listen to us. Because, like I tell them all the time, this is a safe space. This is where we come to vent, we come to cry. When we don't understand, we come to lean and depend on each other. Um, and and everything like that. So if nobody else appreciates it, I know Rodney does. I appreciate it. My doctor he's personable, but he's extremely busy because he sits on this board, that board, another board, and down at MUSC, he's actually treating patients who have. We have so many people at MUSC that have COVID right now. And because they're sarcoidosis patients, some of them, with the lung issues and all that kind of stuff, they're high risk. So he barely had time for our virtual doctor's appointment the other day. So I'm appreciative for everything that you're doing. And, if it's anything that you can offer us as far as, how we can maneuver around this pandemic to make sure that we're safe and everything like that. Could you just go ahead and mention a few of those things for us?
Yeah. Is your Dr. Ennis? Ennis James?
Yes, that's him.
So we had a support group meeting. Mr. Reese and I, we held one last week. We're going to have another one, a local one, tomorrow. Everyone's welcome to join. But we highlighted COVID issues and issues that patient might want to hear about, and we opened the floor. There were issues that we thought might be helpful for folks in terms of the basics of what folks should be doing in terms of hand washing, making sure everybody felt comfortable with the way they washed their hands, which is it's 20 seconds of scrubbing, not 20 seconds of rinsing. So for example, my sister, she was like, oh, rubbing her hands under the water for 20 seconds. But no, you should really just shut the water off maybe and just really get in there. There's that, did you see the Vietnamese dance?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you have that link? But you're talking about interweb, you're talking about the tops, and you want to get under the fingernails too. So that's soapy hands, 20 seconds of soapy hands scrubbing, and then rinse. So that's one of the issues. And then dry your hands. And folks asked us about hand sanitizer, when to wash your hands and when to use hand sanitizer. First off, is really important. If you have the opportunity to wash your hands, that's the best thing to do. And people's hands are getting dry now. That's the other thing. So after you wash your hands, try to grab for some emollient hand cream, right? To keep your hands creamed. You can, after each time you wash your hands, if your hands are super chapped, if they're starting to split, that's no good. One thing I would recommend is heavily creaming up your hands before you go to sleep. And they have cotton gloves, but if you don't have cotton gloves, you can just take cotton socks and put them on your hands at night, and that's going to deeply recondition your skin. So after hand washing, then you can consider, if you don't have access to good soap, water, then hand sanitizer. As long as your hands aren't visibly filthy, it will be good. It has to be 70% alcohol to meet the grade. And folks asked about masks, using masks. It's best to use your mask. It's really more of a protection for others than so much a protection of yourself. But if everybody's wearing masks, then we are all protecting each other, right? So, right. But really, it's for high populated places where you're likely to walk past each other within a radius of 6 feet, like the grocery store, the pharmacy. If you're going to have your prescriptions filled, I would do my level best to try to get your prescriptions filled at a drive-through or at a pharmacy where they're going to come and meet you out by the car with your order. That's one issue. Folks also had issues of immunosuppressants. I'm on immunosuppressants. Can I eliminate any of those? Can I reduce them? Well, I think my advice was that as long as you're social distancing, you'd be okay. The other side of this is that the destructive part of the virus is really its inflammatory cascade, right? It's not the virus itself. It's the destruction, the inflammation that it elicits, has on the body, on the lungs, etc. And so the immunosuppressants we take might actually help to interfere with that cascade because that's the deadly part of the disease. And so that's why one of the reasons why hydroxychloroquine was purported, but based on the limited evidence that we have, because we don't have great evidence, that hydroxychloroquine interfered with the replication cycle, but really more likely it's also interfering with that cytokine storm, that inflammation that's going like wildfire in some people. Any questions about that?
I have a quick question. When it comes to the cleaning supplies, because a couple of patients say that the Clorox and the Lysol messes with their systems.
Oh yeah.
Do you recommend some type of a natural way of cleaning or something to where it doesn't really bother them so much and messes with the breathing and all that?
Yeah. So this is going to be a bit dependent on whether there's somebody infected in the house or not.
Okay.
Okay, so if there is somebody infected in the house, on the CDC webpage is a list of sanitizers. And one of them is all natural, made of thymol, which comes from thyme, the herb thyme. And it can be a little bit strong, but it is all natural. And you only really want to use things in the recommended doses, right? You don't have to go nuts. But actually, when we use Clorox, we can make a mixture of Clorox, and it's I think is it 5 teaspoons in a quart and 5 tablespoons in a gallon. So it's not a whole lot, and you could like mix it in a spray bottle. And so and Clorox is not, it's not very toxic. It's very minimally toxic. In fact, you could even drink Clorox and it shouldn't really have too much but a difference, but it's not much that takes to disinfect and kill the virus. So it's about 1 to 10. So you can mix it in a spray bottle and then just spray it. So for example, if somebody in the house is infected, right, and they don't have their own bathroom, which is what is ideal. If somebody's sick, they're quarantined, they have their own bathroom, they have their own bedroom. That's not always possible though. So the recommendation is to use like a Clorox mixture or one of the mixtures like the thymol mixture I mentioned. But Clorox is much cheaper. And use that to disinfect the bathroom after each time the person who's
Does
infected.
anyone get a hold of it?
What's that?
Hard to get a hold of Clorox right now here.
Is it really? And what about, is it hard to get a hold of non-branded bleach? Just regular old bleach?
Everything.
Yeah, a
It's
lot of
really,
cleaning supplies.
in the
Yes,
last,
any cleaning supply that you cannot find.
I order my bleach on Walmart, and I got 2 big 128 bottles of bleach. It took like 2 weeks to get here, but you can order if you go on the Walmart chain line. You can order from Walmart.
yeah, not from New
I
York.
had
For
I
the
had it
wife,
said
though, just
BJ's had it
for
too.
bleach.
Dr.
Interesting.
Sekaku,
I
Yes.
found a
back
gallon
to
at
the,
Home Depot.
Dr. Sekaku, back to the immunosuppressive type drug.
I'm not going to Home Depot.
So if you're doing Remicade infusion, do you recommend that you continue to do those? Or?
So that's another issue. I have asked any of my patients, I've discussed with them that are on Remicade. I've actually, it's a case by case situation, right? So somebody with newly diagnosed cardiac sarcoidosis, or somebody with difficult to treat eye involvement, those are patients that I'm going to keep on a TNF inhibitor like Humira or Remicade, for example. But folks that have demonstrated a good stable period, those are folks that can afford to stop their treatment or hold their treatment for a while and then pick it up later. And so that is what I opt to do. If folks have already, a number of patients of ours have already had COVID-19 and cleared it. So has anybody here had COVID-19?
That's the negative.
No, no.
Frank.
Frank, you had it?
Yeah,
You
I
had it?
have it. I still have it.
Okay, you have it. Okay. But you're coming on the other end of it.
Yes, you look good, Frank.
Yeah. So a number of people have already, had the virus, and in that case, and they're really well clear, then I would say it's fine to resume the treatments, especially if they're getting benefit from it. But certainly when an organ is threatened, like the heart, the brain, the spine, or the lungs, and the disease was recently very active, I'm going to be a whole lot more considerate of continuing the medication in order to keep the sarcoid at bay.
Okay, so for people that's been on Remicade for a while, and their sarcoid has been in check, so to say, um, you don't recommend that they do the treatments right now?
Well, I have been advising in that situation to hold, yeah. And you may find out that you're able to go a bit longer between the treatments than you realized. And that's a good thing too. So,
Dr. Me and Ennis. I call him Ennis when I'm mad at him. And so we just had that conversation because I get treatment on Monday. And I said, "You sure I need to take this treatment because it's going to make my immune system a little bit weaker?" And then he says to me, he says, "Yeah, you'll be fine." And that's exactly how he said it to me. "You'll be fine." So I think so. The way he was explaining it, it just depends on how weak your immune system is starting out. And he said he honestly believes that I will be okay with getting my treatment because I've been in the house. I've been in the house since the 15th of March. I haven't been anywhere. So I haven't let anybody in. I haven't went anywhere. I have, I have been Cloroxing and Lysol in my house from top to bottom. So, and when we did our assessment and everything like that, he asked me, he says, as long as you go straight there and straight back, because the treatment center that I go to, they were extremely OCD clean before all of this even happened. So he says, and because he knows that, he knows the treatment center that I'm at, he said he honestly believes that I will be okay. Get treatment, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Leave treatment center, get in the car, get out of the car, and go into your house. That's it.
Yes.
And so he gave me those specific instructions, and he said, that's what you do. He said, and you go back into quarantine. That's the only time he wants me to come out the house. So I guess it's just one of those things, you know, it depends on who the patient is.
Well, it does. It
It's
depends on, yeah, I don't know what your medical history is. And I don't
Right.
know how
right.
far out you are from a new diagnosis and how severe whatever organ involvement you had was. So,
Mm-hmm.
but for patients that are doing fairly well, and could stand missing a treatment,
Right.
there's there's two things. There's the immunosuppressive aspect of depleting your tumor necrosis factor alpha, which is an important agent in fighting especially viruses. And the other issue is going to a healthcare facility which is a high risk environment. But again, it's a patient by patient, case by case decision that's carefully made. Like I said, if someone has heart involvement, newly diagnosed, if somebody has brain spinal cord that's recently active, or eye involvement recently active, then I'm more than likely going to discuss with them continuing treatment.
I have a question.
Okay.
That's fine.
Do you recommend that we wear gloves when we go out, like the rubber gloves? You know you know what I mean? Because I've been seeing a lot of people wearing the gloves, and then we see them all on the ground and stuff. You know, they've been showing them all on the ground. People throw them away. So, what do you recommend? Do we wear gloves?
Well, if you cannot touch your face, if you can commit to and you're sure you're not going to be touching your face when you're out and about, meaning like if you're touching products, you're touching the cart, et cetera, et cetera. And as long as you know you can trust yourself, and many of us touch our faces and we don't know it, but as long as you can commit to not touching your face before you sanitize your hands, then that's okay.
I carry a bleach bottle with me everywhere I go because I don't trust the them wiping the thing off on the cart, the handles. I have
Yeah,
my own bleach bottle because I go right behind them, and I actually wear. I don't have
that's
rubber
perfect.
gloves, but I actually wear outdoor gloves wherever I go because I
That's
don't want to
fine.
be touching anything.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. You don't have to wear plastic gloves, but just as
Okay.
long as you remember that if you're wearing those cloth gloves, that those gloves have been touching other things, right?
Right.
So you want to make sure that you don't bring them in the house, or if they're in the house, they're by somewhere sanctuary by the door or in your
They go
car
straight to the
somewhere.
washer.
Okay, you're
Well,
talking about contamination.
Yes. Those cloth gloves that I wear, the outdoor gloves, when I get back, they go straight to the washer because I wash them. I even wash my jacket. Even if I would say, for instance, I went out the day before, that jacket gets washed. If I wore it like the next day when I come back, that jacket gets washed, or something like that. I've been fairly healthy for the most part, but I'm a little worried
yeah,
because I started my Remicade back in August and it's not been a year. So, I'm scared to get off of it for a little bit because I've not been on it for like the whole year. So
Right.
I'm nervous.
yeah.
And I have a
And
question. What do you mean
I
by what is recent about, what is recent?
yeah, so that's a really good question. So, for example, if somebody had active sarcoid, brain, spinal cord, eyes, heart, um, I would be loath if it's less than a year, and really actually less than 2 years. A lot of our patients end up staying on it for years simply because we're afraid to take them off of it. We take them off of these medications. But if someone had neurosarcoid or cardiac sarcoid or ocular sarcoid and they've been on a TNF inhibitor for 2 years or more, it's more than likely safe. to try to wean and see what happens with a careful wean. But like waiting a handful of weeks probably at that point isn't going to make a difference. Um, um, yeah.
Yeah, because I've only
Okay.
been on medicine since December, so
Aha.
I have neurosarcoid
Yes.
and pulmonary it's in my lungs, and they think it's in my thyroid, and it's in other organs maybe too, but they can't take any x-rays like they wanted to. But they put me down. I'm having some severe a reaction from the prednisone because I've been
Yeah.
on it since December. It's
Yeah.
causing my skin to thin out
It's,
and
yeah.
bruising with sores.
Yes.
So they're going to taper me down from 25 to 20 and then down to 15. But they're worried about my neurosarcoid. They're worried that it, because they put me on CellCept, they worry that I might. I don't know if the CellCept's working. I haven't noticed anything different on the CellCept.
How much are you on?
2,000 now, but I've only
Okay.
been on 2,000 for a month now. I was on 1,000 before that.
Yeah, and you can go up. I mean, it's safe to go up. We escalate the dose pretty rapidly at our center for lots of different diseases. And so we start with 500 twice a day for 2 weeks, and then every 5 days we add another tablet to reach a goal dose of 3 grams, 3,000 milligrams. Because especially in those hard to hit areas, you have to go that high. We think that, you know, if you have renal disease, two grams might be enough. For some people, it's not, but definitely in the lungs, it's a very big difference between 2 and 3 grams in terms of efficacy.
He told me that my lungs were not affected that badly. It's a very light case in my lungs. It's the inflammation that I have throughout the body in my I can't even think of it. The CellCept makes me like forget things. Is it true? I mean, I just don't understand my memory.
I think it's the prednisone that does
Oh,
that.
okay. I have
Yeah.
it in my can't even think of the name. It's in
Okay.
my
Sorry.
it's horrible.
No, it's okay. Wendy, where are you? What city are you in?
I'm in Rochester, New York, upstate New York. I'm not far from Niagara Falls and Buffalo.
Oh, so do you see Mark Judson?
No, she's probably about 6 hours away from him.
Oh, okay.
I'm having an issue. I listened to the program yesterday, and the doctor said to advocate. So I went and I spoke with my doctor and asked him if he could get a bunch of his colleagues to start a sarcoid clinic, and he said that their hospital's not equipped to do that. They don't have specialists that are in that area. It's best, I said, well, do you have a lot of sarcoid patients? And they said, yes, they do. Is there a reason for this?
Um, yes, but it's human generated. So one of the goals that trying very hard to do is to cultivate sarcoid specialists and have them trained. The way we've been able to do that with scleroderma, and try to develop specialty centers and a multidisciplinary paradigm of cardiologists, neurologists, pulmonologists that converge and treat and offer combined care. I think it's really important because it's a very complex disease. It can be a very complex disease. More often than not, my experience is that it is, and bits of it often get overlooked. So we do our very best to get people off steroids as soon as is humanly possible. So we really escalate the dose of the DMARDs like mycophenolate or concomitant
Thank you so much.
TNF
I
inhibition.
really need some help. Thank you.
Yeah, and because especially where we live, people have high cardiovascular risk factors, and our folks are going to die from the prednisone, because
Wow.
it just wreaks havoc on the human body. It saves people's lives because it works fast. It works really completely, practically. And then, but what's unfortunate is that people are left on this mindlessly because people, for some reason, forget how destructive it is. The eyes, the skin, the bones, the blood vessels.
I see it already.
In psychosis and mood disorders are very common. Sleep disturbance,
Anger.
blood pressure, the sugar.
Yeah.
But it's really important to start at a high dose like 60 when somebody has cardiac involvement or ocular involvement or brain involvement, spinal
They
cord
didn't do that.
involvement.
They didn't do that. They missed the mark. They started me at 40 for a week and then
That's
put me down.
fine. 40 is also fine because you're probably a smaller person.
I weigh 100 and I'm 5'6". I weigh 168.
Yeah, I think 40 is fine, but it's a transition, so it's just a bridge to get everything else on board that's not going to destroy your body the way prednisone will. And so that's the rush. It's that bridge. It's that bridge time that you're using this the prednisone.
I just got my PCP to acknowledge that I have this disease after I've went to had all my biopsies and everything, been to the hospital, all that stuff. It is, the trauma that we have to go through, Dr. Leslie,
I know.
is like I'm in another world. I feel like I'm on Mars or something. I cannot believe the way that doctors are handling us all.
Yeah.
And I've had my sisters help me because it's been hard.
It's
And
so
they've
much.
been advocating for me. And it's funny how since they've been helping me, I don't know, maybe or because we're going through this thing with the COVID, they're wanting to make more appointments with me, maybe because they're losing people. I don't know, but it's been just horrible. I didn't know. They never told me about this. The side. They didn't spend any time with me. It was in and out, in and out. One doctor sent me to another doctor because they didn't know anything. When and now nobody's working with each other, and it's horrible. And then I wanted to go to a clinic, Dr. Leslie. But the clinics won't take my insurance because I'm not working any longer.
So there are some also, Wendy, there are some clinics that are willing to work with you on that. You just have to figure out which one it is. And then there are waivers that you can get through your insurance companies that actually will pay. You just have to prove, and they have to see your recent history. Because I just helped a patient who has state Medicaid wherever she is, and she wanted to come to MUSC. I want to say she was either North Carolina or Georgia. And what she did was she called one of the case managers that at her state Medicaid office or whatever, and what they did was they did an override. So sometimes you can do that to get the help that you need.
I tried that, honey. I called Cleveland and Mayo, and they said no, we will not take New York State Medicaid. We're sorry.
Okay.
So Cleveland and Mayo, their structure is changing financially, and they don't get to be the centers they want to be anymore. What's your closest city, Wendy?
Rochester, New York.
Oh, Rochester. What's near Rochester? Like, where else can you?
She's actually on the border. She's on the border of Canada, basically, and New York.
Buffalo, New York.
Have you ever gone to Canada for treatment?
No,
no. You don't accept U.S. dollars there, right?
Yeah, it's Canada has their own exchange, like United Healthcare, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it
I
is
wish
awesome.
we had that because then I would be able to go anywhere.
How
Yeah.
far away are you from Chicago by airplane?
18, by airplane, 18 and a half hours by car. But airplane, I'm not really sure. Maybe
And
4.
Maryland? And what about Maryland?
Yeah,
I
John
think
Hopkins has a really nice one also.
Barney Stern, as I thought he was at Hopkins. Barney Stern.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he just moved to Hopkins. And Ginny Tavy is in Chicago now. She used to be at Cleveland Clinic. So Cleveland
Yeah.
Clinic is losing their very best because it's they're kind of overwrought with this financial administrative bean counters that are crippling everybody.
Yeah.
So Ginny Tavy is at Northwestern, and she's one of the best neurosarc people. And the other person is, like I said, Barney Stern, who's now at Hopkins. But actually, if you could get to see Mark Judson, he is also very. I like his approach in neurosarcoid,
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Judson left MUSC and went to New York. So we were sad
Yeah,
to see
he's
him
in
go,
Albany,
but
Wendy.
Oh, he is?
I had Jenny Tevye diagnosed me at
Pulmonary
Cleveland
though, isn't
Clinic.
he?
What was that, Wendy?
Isn't he pulmonary? Didn't you tell me?
No. He's total. He does everything.
there's a few of us that are total folks. He's one of them. Nadira Swice is another.
Yeah,
He's
Um,
amazing.
Frank gave me his
Judson's
name, but I
really
thought he
great.
only did pulmonary.
I'm one.
Dr.
Dr.
Swice and
Boffman.
Dr. Boffman.
Yeah, and Dr. Boffman is another. Dan Culver
Dr.
is another.
Morgenthau.
Yeah, they're all in Albany.
No, they're all across
Albany
the
Judson
country.
would be. Judson's in Albany. The other one in New York is Dr. Morgenthau, but he's in New York City, which is pretty far from you. But Judson is
And
closer.
I'm not going there. You know why?
Well, like I said, Judson would be a really good fit for you.
Yeah, I think he would too, because he's very sensitive about prednisone dosing and bridging and quality of life and really listening to the disease.
Yeah.
Because it's very individual, so you're listening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
so Dr. Leslie, we don't want to spend too much time just on one person. So we had another question from Spencer. Spencer wanted to know, Spencer, you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Sure, I'd be glad to. I was just curious, you were commenting on, I'm on prednisone now. I was just diagnosed with cardiosarcoidosis about a month and a half ago, and then released into this fun pandemic that everyone's going through.
Where are you?
I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, right.
And we've got a great clinic here at Intermountain Healthcare
Yes,
with several doctors here.
Mary Beth Scholand.
Okay. And so my question was, I'm on the prednisone now, 60 milligrams. And you were commenting on the side effects of it and being on it for a long time. I just went into the hospital today because they hadn't done any of the lung workup. So I have it in my heart and my lungs. My whole heart's encased in it. And my lungs, they just did a workup today, of which I had called ahead, expressed concern. They assured me I was the only patient coming in to the hospital today in their group. And so they cleaned everything out. It was totally clean, wore masks in. So we'll see how that goes coming out of things. But they did the work. I got back home, came straight back home. But just been on the prednisone, and they were talking like they were going to up the doses to a 90. Is that, I guess, common? And how long do you, with all the side effects you guys are talking about?
It's not really effective after 60. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get any more effect really than what you've got. Did you get started on anything else? Hydroxychloroquine, methotrexate? Was there a plan for
They were talking about that.
Okay. I think there's a new doctor under Dr. Scholand now, or Tracy Freck, at Intermountain, right? University of Utah.
I don't. Neither of those are familiar to me.
Okay.
I have a Dr. Minder who does the cardio side, and was great to work with several across the nation on the diagnosis. And then a doctor today that did the pulmonary workup. But yeah, I was just curious as to what's a long time on prednisone, and what you guys
said
thought.
it's been how many weeks for you?
So I'm about 6 weeks.
6 weeks on prednisone, and you're on 60 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. Are you on something to protect your stomach?
So yes, they have and I'll say it wrong, the name of it, but it's kind of an antacid.
Omeprazole?
Say that one again.
Omeprazole?
No, started with P.
Pantoprazole?
Yes,
Pantoprazole.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
So
good.
that and an antibiotic.
Okay, Bactrim.
Mhm.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so if you're on prednisone, if you're on doses higher than 20, you want to consider being on some prophylactic antibiotic. And the other issue is you always need stomach protection when you're on prednisone. And what about your bones? Did they do a bone scan?
No bone scan yet. Just
See how your
primarily.
bones are. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure arthritis runs through my family. So I'm sure there will be something down the line if I'm not careful. But as far as the bone density, just getting up and walking around, I have aches and pains and stuff like that. But yeah, so what do you guys consider a long time for being on prednisone? How quickly do you try to get people off of it?
Yeah, so we try to get people off pretty rapidly. So on the first visit that I see somebody, I would probably start methotrexate and give them an escalating dose in addition to the prednisone, because it takes a while for the methotrexate to get on board. And so we get that dose up to the max. And we try to gently wean. Are you having any more cardiac symptoms?
Yeah, so well, they put an ICD in and got the ICD to stabilize the heart, because I also have it's not an AFib, but it's where the heart, it pumps the top chamber and the bottom chamber pump at the exact same time, and then they skip several beats. So I have 6 and 7 second pauses. And so they had to do that.
Yeah, and hopefully that will all get better. Yeah. And do you still feel them?
Oh yeah. I can feel that, and I can feel the pacemaker kicking. They had to go back in and redo one of the leads because it was done too low. And I don't mean to take up all the time with everything. I was just curious as to what you guys thought was a long time. I'm concerned about all the side effects. I'm already feeling the weight gain, the aches and pains, the headaches, that type of stuff has already kicked in pretty fast.
Yeah, I would ask for more robust attention on a treatment plan, and that would be alternative to prednisone. That's not increasing the prednisone dose. I think if they feel the need to, they're going to urge you to do that. But what you really is an alternate treatment, and have an opportunity to get off. You probably need a TNF inhibitor. Did you actually get, excuse me, did you get a PET CT of your heart?
Yes.
And it still showed activity?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
it's
that's a
lit
good
up like
sign.
a Christmas tree.
That's great. You know why I say that's great? Because that is treatable. That's treatable. That means that there's something there that can be made to disappear, right? If it didn't light up, if it was there but it didn't light up, that would just be scar, and that would be damage. What this is demonstrating is that you've got something that we can wash away, right? That can dissolve and be washed away. I would really try to be an advocate for yourself. and try to, I think in your disease, methotrexate alone is not going to do it. You're going to need to be on it probably, and TNF inhibitor. And I would ask about those things. I would ask specifically, can we start this? And if not, please explain your reasoning.
Great, thank you. I'm just writing those down. I appreciate that.
And,
I'd like to
and
just.
you can also ask to speak to Dr. Scholand, Scholand, Mary Beth Scholand at Utah.
And she's at the University of Utah, or is she at IHC?
She runs the pulmonary fibrosis program, and she is really great in sarcoid.
Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate it.
I wanted to say a few things. I wanted to say a few things to Leslie and Spencer. So Spencer, I also have cardio problems, and that's where I got put on prednisone. And I wasn't able to tell you what I was happy about, but now that I have my microphone on, I'm through the first 6 months of my prednisone. I started at 60, I'm down to 30, and life is a lot more livable. I also had a PET scan that lit up like your Christmas tree, and I also have an ICD. So we're cousins. And I just want to tell you that it is getting better. I have to have another PET scan in the next 6 months to see, as Leslie said, if it's washing away or not from the prednisone. But so far, my rheumatologist has just been fantastic, has guided me along, with the taper, and it does get better. I was going crazy on 60 milligrams for a while, but it does get better. And, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a data point. It's always good to know what other people are doing.
Yeah, James, I appreciate that so much. That's great feedback. I'd love to hear that. And you've been at 30 for how long?
Just started a couple of days ago.
Oh, I'm thrilled to hear that. I'm looking forward to those days when it can go down.
Yeah, so
Okay, if everybody can do me a favor real quick, if everyone can mute their microphones except for Dr. Leslie, we're getting a little feedback, so I need everybody to mute their microphones real quick. Okay, Dr. Leslie, go ahead. If it was anything else you needed to say.
No, not really. Just again, we try to get folks off prednisone pretty rapidly if we can. And if you're having mental health and sleep issues, those can be palliated with intervention as well, like SSRI. And there's one antidepressive medicine which is wonderful for sleep, which is called mirtazapine. So it serves the dual purpose of assisting with sleep and also assisting with mood, helping modulate mood. And you take it at night.
Okay, awesome.
I was just given that, Leslie.
Okay, really quick, before you go, Kathleen has something she wants to say, and then Rodney can say something.
Thanks, Tessa. So Spencer, just so you know, I'm another cardiac that was on high doses of prednisone. I don't have a defibrillator, thank God, but I do have a loop monitor that they're constantly checking on me right now. So I was able to taper off of the prednisone. I'll be doing a PET scan when the world comes back to normal. My PET scan last year was showing still the uptake. So that's why they had me on high doses. Thankfully, now I'm off the high doses. I'm down 15 pounds, hoping a lot more to come. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can reach out to me at any time. Okay?
Thank you. I certainly appreciate that, Kathleen. And thank you, Leslie and James, also for the information. So thanks to everyone.
All right. Rodney.
Okay, please.
Rodney had something to say really quick, and then
Yeah, I was just going to address Spencer about the prednisone issue. I was on prednisone for 3 years, and I averaged 80 milligrams a day. That was with tapering down and then going back up. I had been up as high as 100 milligrams a day at one time. But it helped me breathe. It really helped my lung issues that I was having. But just mind tough it out. You hadn't been on it long. Like I say, I was doing that for 3 years. I did have to eventually have both my hips replaced because it deteriorated my hip bones. But hopefully you won't be on that long and at those high dosages. But Jerry Lewis, the comedian, used to say, he said prednisone is the world's worst, best drug.
It is.
It's very good in some illnesses, and it can tear your body down in other ways. But hopefully, it can get you on something else that will work. And like Dr. Sekaku said, it might be a combination of 2, 3, know how many drugs, but something that can do the same thing that the prednisone is doing for you.
Absolutely. And that goes back also to like Dr. Zakatuk said, like advocating for yourself and making sure that you are like extremely involved. That way, you have a hand on it and everything like that. So yeah, just make sure you advocate for yourself and be on top of everything. Dr. Sakatu,
Oh,
did
I
you have
did.
anything?
Yeah, I did want to say something. Yeah, so advocating, like, don't be afraid to call them like every 3 days to say, I need attention on this, because, life happens and we have the best of intentions. And, even people have my cell phone number, and how many times did I mean and know it was important to text my patient back, but just life happened. So please don't be, this is your life. So, and if they don't respect that you're trying to protect yourself, that's an issue, which I don't think it will be. They'll only be glad that you reach out to them. So every 3 days, what's my plan? What I wanted to say is, for those people on prednisone, and even generally, it's so important to move our bodies. In this time of COVID, they did some studies because of the kind of hostility that we're feeling and this fear and all this stuff that's going on, that 40 minutes at least 4 days a week seems to work. There was a small study that was done. Maybe that's true for prednisone too, because it's kind of a similar kind of weird out, isn't it? But what moving our bodies does, like, so I would tell my patients, please, 20 minutes a day, move your body in a way that feels beautiful to you. What does moving our bodies do? Moving our bodies reduces inflammation. It does, hands down. It is a medicine. It drives down inflammation, and probably on par as methotrexate. It's not going to replace methotrexate in somebody who's very sick, but I have had patients where they hiked up their exercise and we were able to roll back on some of the immunosuppressants they were on, or at least the dosage, if they kept up that exercise.
Awesome.
And yeah, and it also helps the brain. Exercise helps our brains in so many ways. It's not just, oh, I exercise and I feel good. There's like really hardcore chemical exchanges happening. When we exercise, for example, our body produces more of this um, uh, um, molecule called it's called phosphotransurinican or something like this. But what it allows to happen is that if we don't exercise, our body can't pee it out, because exercise causes a transformation to happen. And if it doesn't transform and we don't get rid of it, it can cycle back and cause a real chemical depression. And that's why moving is so good for us, and sitting constantly is not good for us. So, and in terms of sleep, when we move, our muscles get a chance to release, our brains get a chance to release. And so with that shakedown that happens, we get a better night's sleep. And good sleep, quality sleep reduces inflammation. Poor sleep quality increases inflammation. This is a scientific fact. So not only that, the other thing that exercise does, it creates cascades of molecules that we see in medications we take for diabetes, cholesterol, hypertension, depression, inflammation. So it creates an on switch. It creates, even just standing up like this, I've created a cycle, a cascade of these chemicals that are going to go ahead and break down cholesterol, just the act of standing. So we cannot underestimate the power of moving our bodies, and in a beautiful way, in a way that pleases us. All all movement is healthful, whether it's walking, whether it's dancing, whether it's swimming, whether it's swaying back and forth. Just moving our bodies like this is good for us. So I want to leave you with that, especially people that are on prednisone. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Leslie. That was absolutely magnificent. We definitely appreciate you coming on. Thanks, Rodney, for asking her, and thank you, Dr. Leslie, for accepting the invitation. And hopefully we didn't scare you off, and you'll be willing to come back one day, in the very near future.
I hope.
So whenever you just feel like coming in, just come on in.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we
That's
leave,
a
go ahead, Rodney.
that's a Southern New Orleans girl, Chastity. You can't scare her.
See, Dr. Leslie, Rodney and I have this love relationship going on that don't nobody know about. So we love each other, but we love each other.
That's a
Yeah.
Southern
So
girl.
right. So that's a southern girl in us. So before we go, I want everybody to remember the thing about the find something that makes you happy, and everything like that. Do something this week, next week that makes you happy. And I can tell just by you all explaining those things to me when we first opened up that your mood changed when you were talking about those things. So just do those things that make you happy. When I was talking to you guys earlier about Global Citizen is doing a humongous concert on Saturday, April the 18th, and it's gonna be it's gonna be broadcasted live. So if you listening to music, research Global Citizen so you can be a part of that concert for all the music lovers and everybody who's listening to music to get them through this pandemic. Also,
Yeah.
say what?
Chess,
I
I
just
have a
said yes.
question
Hold
about
on one second. Hold on one second. Caprice, did you say something?
No, I just said yes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Regina.
so
Thank
this
you.
global citizen, is it something we can get on our streaming on TV, or is it something that's like right on the computer or the phone?
I want
They're
to
actually
say,
on CBS, ABC, and NBC.
yeah,
Saturday at I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern time.
on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah,
And it
and they're
will be
also,
streamed online also.
yeah, they're also online. They're going to be on YouTube
Yeah.
online.
Oh, good. I have YouTube. I was just checking because just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure
Well,
which video I can catch them.
oh yeah, definitely. They're not only doing that on Saturday. They've had concerts all day today. Starting at like 9 o'clock this morning, my time. And so I think the last concert starts at 9 tonight. I think that one's going to be held on IG Live, Instagram Live. So I don't think that one's going to be anywhere but on Instagram. So just research Global Citizen on Instagram and you'll be able to find it there.
I can tell you what, that's
Also,
kind of a good point when you work and still work.
yeah, right. It comes in handy now. Um,
Global Citizen
also,
has been around for a while. They do a lot of stuff.
Global Citizen is amazing, and they've also partnered with the World Health Organization also. So
Yes.
that right there in itself
That's
should,
where I got my
if
You
ticket.
better not let Trump know that.
well, that's what I was about to say. I was about to throw a little shade and say if you've been watching the news, World Health Organization needs a little bit more attention right about now. So um Rodney said it before I could get it out. Mute your microphone, Rodney. and so um And so also on April the 28th, we're going to have another call. You all asked for it. So Frank and Rick actually made it happen. So same time, April 28th, at 7 o'clock, we'll be back right here. I'm going to see if we can get somebody else to come. Frank, you want to
And
elaborate?
one quick thing. I just saw Leslie raise a hand for something. Did you want to
Oh,
say something?
I did want to just say one thing. In this day of telemedicine, you should feel like you're able to be seen across the country in terms of like if you wanted a second opinion. I know that our center is going to be doing more of seeing people from all over the country now, because all of these medical centers have rushed the implementation of telemedicine. So Wendy, that's for you, honey, and anybody else,
Gotcha.
so
So, and with that being said, so
Yeah.
Dr. Leslie, hold on, give me 1 second, Wendy. With that being said, with in most of these are going to be done virtually, or is it one of those things that, I live in South Carolina, but if I want to come see you in Louisiana, like how will we do that? Because, like Wendy said, it's the crossing of lines from cities and states.
it
It's
would
kind of complicated on the insurance aspect.
well it may be complicated for Medicaid, but not really for other insurances.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I see a lot of people from different states, so I've not had trouble.
Okay,
And in terms of Medicaid, um, I guess states that are adjacent is fine. So, for example, if Mark is doing telemedicine, Wendy, you could see him easily, probably. I know that Albany's been in implementing. I know they've had a big COVID infection problem. But I bet give it a month, and you'll probably be able to get into clinic with him by telemedicine. And you'd call the clinic like any other way. You just call the clinic, say, this is my insurance. I want to have a telemedicine visit with XYZ. Thank you.
okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Dr. Leslie. Awesome. So everybody has homework tonight, tomorrow night,
I
the
have,
night after
I
that.
have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Caprice.
You said you had a virtual check doctor visit.
hmm
How did that work out? I mean, this
A
is
lot
with
of
your
people, a lot of hospitals and doctors' offices are using MyChart. Do you have a
right.
MyChart account?
No, I haven't experienced any visitation or anything yet. Thank God, I'm doing okay. But I know somebody else who did, but they just for their blood pressure, and they canceled it because they figured, how are they properly going to check me if,
So
with my blood pressure
it's
when I
gonna
check
be
my own blood
hard.
pressure.
Right. So it's going to be kind of hard if you don't have a MyChart account. And MyChart is compatible to your phone as well as a computer, and everything like that. But some doctors' offices are actually doing appointments over the telephone also. So even when you don't want to cancel or maybe so, and then the blood pressure thing, that's going to be kind of hard. So I mean, it just all depends on the conversation between her and her doctor. But yeah, MyChart is video capable. So, it's just a simple click of a button, signing in, you and your doctor
Right.
sitting there having a video chat.
Okay, because like I know I do breathing tests with my doctor, and I don't know. I think tomorrow I will be calling them to ask them because I know they're going to be doing stuff too. So I'm going to call them and ask them how they're going to go about all this because
Right,
I do breathing tests and all this stuff. So
right.
I
So that's
want
the only thing we weren't able to
to check
do,
this
but
out.
everything else was doable.
Okay,
Yep. Trina, you good?
Good experience. I had
thank
two
you.
appointments using the tel with my physician. One was with my specialist office. I had to wind up going, and like you said, Shasta, I had to go in for a PFT and a chest X-ray. However, my primary, I was able to talk to him by tel, and without a problem, he produced me a letter for me to tell work from home to give to my HR department. So it depends.
Awesome. Did I answer your question, Caprice?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Awesome.
And
All
I'm
right.
I'm retired, so my job is no problem.
Thanks,
Thank
Tetsu.
God I'm
We'll see you
retired.
later. Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. Dr. Leslie, do you have anything else to say?
Just feel beautiful.
Awesome. Sounds
Yes,
good.
Yeah, and
Right.
yes.
if you notice you're not feeling beautiful, just try to let yourself feel beautiful, because everything else follows from there.
Yes, I agree
Love
with that
yourself.
100%. I mean, I can't wait to get back to the beautician, but
Just love yourself. Love yourself.
yes.
Never
That's a must.
yourself.
And thank
That's
you for joining.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's up, Rodney?
Before we end this meeting, this being Sarcoidosis Awareness Month,
Yep.
I'd like to invite everyone to go to YouTube and search for this song. It's "We Are One." It's by Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Uh-oh.
Beverly and Maze. Maze. The title is "We Are One." I want you to listen to this song. Uplifts me every time I hear it. Dr. Sekou knows it, but she knows it by the Hot 8 Brass Band. Their
Yes.
version of it. And you can also listen to the Hot 8 Brass Band's version of it also. But it's a very uplifting song and something I think we all need at this time in our lives.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
So,
Maze heads, y'all know what I'm talking about.
awesome. So before we leave, and we're actually on time this time. So Rodney gonna have me in the house dancing. So everybody's assignment this time, I want to see pictures of your dance parties. I want to see pictures of you in your garden. I want to see pictures of you in nature. I want to see all of this stuff when we come back and resume on the 28th.
I may have
Okay.
to push back a little bit. I might have to push it back to the next one.
Well, when is the 28th?
Frank, you can dance in bed.
Right. Frank can dance in bed.
Come on, Frank, you gotta get moving.
Yeah. Okay. So if you don't have it on the 28th, if you don't have it on the 28th, then we'll look for it on May the 5th. And May the 5th is Cinco de Mayo, so don't come on the call drunk unless you have enough for everybody.
Oh my God.
We'll be kicking everybody out who's eating tacos and drinking margaritas.
Oh no.
I'm trying to add another one for May also.
Okay.
Another date for May.
Gotcha. Okay. So if our hearts
Don't
and
put it
minds
on
are
the 10th.
clear, thank you all
Frank,
for
don't put
coming.
it for the 10th.
Say what, Caprice? Debbie?
I was telling Frank, don't put it for the 10th. That's my birthday.
Oh.
I don't want to be on with y'all on my birthday. Because I will be getting kicked off because I'm going to have my drink and my taco.
Sounds good. Debbie, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes, I would like to hi everyone. I'd get in contact with Kathleen, please, because I meant to get her phone number. She gave it to me. She put it across the screen. I'm her Facebook friend. I wanted to ask her a couple of questions. That
I'm
inbox
sending
you on
it to you,
Facebook
Debbie.
Messenger. Okay,
Debbie?
thank you.
Debbie, can
Yes?
you see that I'm look on? Can you see that there's a chat?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm putting my phone number up there. Everybody should pretty much have it right about now. So there it is for you, Miss Debbie.
Oh, I missed the last four numbers I didn't get.
4169.
Just okay, yeah.
What is it, ma'am?
This is not my phone number. You all have it. It's 631 793 793 4169.
4169. Okay. I'm gonna.
Thank
What the
you.
best time to call you?
Anytime, as soon as I get off this, so it's all good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Everyone, enjoy your night.
Thank
You
you.
too,
All
Debbie.
right.
So thank everybody for coming. If you all need me,
Leslie.
before was somebody saying something?
Frank, it's so nice to see you laughing, man. You don't know how that's touching my heart, brother. Remember, Frank?
Is Frank still on? He might have left.
No, he's
Yeah.
still there. He's
Oh, there
still
you
there.
go.
Yeah, gotta laugh, gotta smile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man. Good.
Yes.
Keep it up, brother. Keep it
Yes,
up.
you do.
Keep your head to the sky.
That's
Frank,
right. And keep moving.
Frank, do you think
Yeah.
anybody else was from the New York area?
Well, Caprice
Yes, I
is
am.
actually Caprice is gonna
And
contact you.
Debbie.
tonight.
Okay, great. And
And
Debbie?
Debbie,
Yes,
Kathleen,
Yes.
Debbie.
can you send her the information? Kathleen is going to send Debbie the information.
Okay, great. First Saturday. Perfect. Thank you. Woohoo!
Yes.
Okay.
All
Hey,
right.
you.
Virginia?
One more thing before we
What?
go. I want you all to know what Dr. Sekaku is doing.
Oh,
She
yeah.
started a online support group here in Louisiana. Our first meeting was last Friday. Then Saturday she did a mask making session, show people how to make masks. And then we're
Oh, that
having
sounds
another
nice.
meeting,
Yes.
tomorrow.
My
And
friend made me this one.
All right.
Nice.
Rodney, send me their information so I can
just
join y'all.
wanted to recognize her for what she's doing and thank her for everything she's doing for us. And she does that for us. She doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
this was a fantastic night tonight.
Yes, it was.
Rodney, send me that information also.
Okay.
For y'all's call on tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, so that right there is our segue. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. If you need any of us, myself, Kathleen, Frank, Rodney, we're on all platforms of social media. Just type our names in and we'll pop right up. So don't forget your homework and don't forget to wash your hands, sanitize, and drink plenty of water. Okay?
Yes,
Remember,
ma'am.
we are one.
Yes.
Awesome. So y'all have a good night.
Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Everybody have a
All
Good
right.
great night.
night.
Thank you for the meeting. I really enjoyed it.
Good
Yeah,
night.
Me
nice meeting
too.
you, Doctor.
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
Thank you.
Stay well.
Stay well.